Hello everybody and welcome on today's video. Today I am going to give a shot with my new high sophisticated microphone. I hope the sound of the videos will be better. So if it is not, well, I'm sorry. Can't say that I did not try. Today we are going to work on this fusion project tree. It's all Carpinus, and well, I think some of the trees died in the summer. We had a very hot and dry summer, and some of the trees had some difficulties. So I have to replace some of them, and for the first time in a year I'm going to get this tree out of this pot, and yeah, well, we'll see what we find, and replace the trees that need to be replaced. So I'm going to remove this tree from this pot. It's quite a heavy thing, and I don't want to make a complete mess here, so well, I guess this is not too bad. And now clean this up and see what's going on. So I don't remember how deep these roots are, and oh well. There's already a root here. So while I'm cleaning up everything here and getting the soil loose, I see that a few trees are dead, and well, it's easy to see it because the roots are almost gone, and so I have to cut these out of the ground and out of the trunk, and I will have to do some replacements, but that's not really a big issue because I have a lot of spares. I did a lot of air layering, and I have seedlings of Carpinus trees, so it would have been a miracle that all these trees would make it. And now I know a little more than I did last year about technique for such projects, so in time it will work. Maybe not this year, maybe not next year, but if every time I replace the dead ones with new ones, well, in time they will all be alive. But a lot of trees did really well, and you see the nice fine roots. So the roots are now cleaned up and washed. As you see, there's quite a lot of dead parts here, well, parts that are not covered, and as to complete the catastrophe, the structure opened a little. But of course it is not a big deal because I just have to close this back and put some pressure on it. There's not too much dead trees anymore, I think, but quite a lot of gaps that I will have to fill up. On the other side we have still some very interesting roots here sticking out. It's gonna be a little bit chaotic, but we have a good base. So I'm going to give a quick root prune in order to get the start of a flat bottom, because some roots are quite thick. I didn't do any root pruning last year when I started this, but I cannot continue to let all these thick roots grow, because it will have to fit in a pot one day, and these plants already had a year of good growing, so they'll take it. That's not a big issue, I think. It's just a rough pruning, and then we'll put this tree in a new pot. So this is the new pot. It's a pot I use a lot. It's a big mica pot. I've used it several times for different projects, and I always reuse it because it's just a really big pot. You cannot break it. It has a front, of course, so why not do this properly? And I just put the tree on top. I'm gonna put it a little higher. Because I want to see the roots, the root base. I think this is quite okay. So now the tree is somewhere where I'd like it to be in the pots, and I'm gonna fill it up with a little more soil here in the middle and at the back, and then with one thick big wire try to put some pressure on it. That's all I'm gonna need, and I'm going to get the spare trees. So I took a pot with all little spare ones, and you see there are different sizes. So this is quite a big one already, and what I'm going to do now is just add them one at a time. Trying to take in consideration the lowest part of the tree, the root base, so that there is an interesting root sticking to the outer side. So that's one. And another. Yeah, it's a good root. And again another, and so on. So I added a lot of trees, and As you can see, it's almost completely filled now. I still have a few spares left that maybe I can add next year if I see that there are a few dead again, or maybe that I have a few little holes that I must fill up. But for the time being, this is as good as it gets, I think. So now I'm going to attach this as firmly as I can, and then I'm going to fill up the pot with soil. This is not it's not a good thing. 1 second. Okay, so I removed the plastic thing. I'm sure it has a name, but I don't know it. I'm going to fix a few pieces of bamboo here. And here. Oh boy. And there, if I have 3, it will be enough. So one here, and then the third one there. And I'm going to try to put this plastic ring under this bamboo pieces. And hope that when I tie this up, it will stay in the lower parts. Yeah, so I'm gonna need pliers to get enough tension on this. Tension is the success to fusion. So if we look now, it's almost completely close to it. Well, there's a few gaps left, but I think that's okay. So now let's cover this all up with a good draining soil. So this is the first part of the job, and the tree is now safe and secure in its pots. The roots are well covered. It needs watering now, and I'm gonna call it a day because the sun is going under, and tomorrow, or well, when I have some spare time, I will take care of the upper part of the tree. And of course I'll try to film it and give some explanations about this fusion project. So in the meantime, thank you for watching, and see you next time. Hello everybody. It's been 3 weeks since I said that I would continue the day after, but well, been kind of busy with all kinds of things, and the weather was not always nice. So today what I'm going to do is to try to get the fusion started by putting all the trees together, and therefore the first thing I must do is get rid of all the old wire. And I noticed that some parts have been fusing already, so let's start with these parts. So this is copper wire, and it's quite a thick wire, so it's not possible to reuse this, but of course I will keep it and bring it back to a place where they can recycle that, because it is the best thing to do for the planet. And here we have some aluminum wire, which can easily be removed just by hand. And as you can see, we have a fusion here. So this is after 1 year. Of course, the fusion includes that the tree has some wounds here. Now I removed the wire and it comes loose, which is not a big problem. But I have fusion here, that's quite sure, at these small branches. And you see, well, I hope you can see that the little wire here is starting to disappear into the wood, which is something I do not like. So I'm going to try to remove this wire. But these two branches, these two little ones, are still fused together now, which is exactly what we want. So now I have to remove all the wire from the whole tree, which is even more boring than putting the wire on. So I'll come back to you when this is done. So all the wires are gone now, and what I need to do now is, of course, get rid of the dead parts, because some of the trees did not make it. This made it, well, partly. This twig is alive, but this is dead, so I gotta get rid of that. Some of the trees, well, they did not make it at all, and then this one is partly. So I'm just removing all the dead bits now. This is completely gone. Yeah. Because if I want to make a tight fusion, they will be of no help. While I was unwiring the tree, most of the leaves came off too. So this was, well, it makes things a little more clear. So that's what I have to do now. Getting rid of all the dead parts. Yeah. So now that the dead parts are removed, well, maybe I missed some, but I'll find them anyway. I'm going to just make a little loop in this piece of plastic raffia, and I'm going to anchor it on this bamboo and wrap it as tight as possible around the trees. And of course I'm going to try to align them, because I don't want any crossing. So this is going to be a little tricky, but it's very important to do that. So untangle everything first and then put it nice in position, and then apply the pressure like so. If the pressure is not enough, it's not a big problem, because you can always put a second piece of raffia around it. And you don't want to put too much pressure on your first raffia, because it might break, and then, well, if something breaks, it's never good. So I'm going to work my way up to this tree, and first wrap the little branch, well, secondary trunk, let's call it, and then start over from another anchor point and do the same with the big tree. So you see, if you don't have pressure enough the first time, you just put the raffia a few times around, and it is possible that way to readjust some little twigs. And if you're happy with it, well, then move a little more in the upward direction.
is keeping some pressure on the raffia. That's why it is so important to have your tree well anchored in the soil and have some anchor points that are quite stable. So you see the wire I put, the aluminium wire, is becoming loose. That means that the raffia is taking this over, which is exactly what we want. So the tree is now packed in a synthetic raffia, and here and there I added thick rough aluminium wire just to give it a basic shape. And well, it's starting to get some nice and interesting shape, I think. So the only thing we can do now is wait for the growing season and then let the tree grow. Probably I'll cut back the long shoots just before spring starts in order to have more back budding and have lots of branches opening at all places, so when they open and they start to grow, they start the fusion. So you're looking at what will probably be the front. There's this big branch here in the back, which I'm not really sure of what I should do with it, because it's a little too thick to be included in the fusion, but it's too weak to be a real branch. Well, I can always cut it off, so I don't know yet. Some of the branches must still be positioned, of course. Maybe this one can come a little more in the back. But basically this is what I wanted to do before the winter really started. So thank you for watching, and see you next time.